Hello everyone. Hopefully we're really live and not just pretend live. I'm hoping for real live on Confessions. Whoops. Forgot to turn my guitar down. That's bad on me. Let me get my iPad out of the way here. Ooh, she was pretty. I'm not sure what I was just bringing up with my thumb on YouTube, but it was quite interesting, let me tell you. Anyway, welcome to Confessions number 2. We're still playing with sets. We're still trying to make things better. We're still trying to make things cooler. What is tonight about? Tonight's about me. Tonight is about who am I now? Let me take a moment to say 15th Bend. Hello. If you're still hanging, thank you for stopping by and saying hello. I definitely appreciate that. Hopefully I'm not looking too creepy tonight. I took a shower yesterday. I brushed my hair. Brushed my teeth. I ate some dinner. Way too much, probably candy or something. Hello, Preston Smith. Welcome. Good to see you. DOA, Development of a Void. Welcome. Pookie Ann is here. Hello. My goodness, look at everybody's there. My. That's awesome. Just kind of let everybody filter in. Hello, Bud Files. Welcome. Man, it's good to see folks coming back. That's fantastic news and wonderful to see. Well, hello, Clay. Welcome, Conspiracy Music. So good to see you all here. Anyway, I hope people are enjoying the new set view here. I put a lot of work into rearranging this. I'll always have the toolie crap. It won't look super pretty. There's more organization and stuff coming where the microphone and the camera is over here is going to change a little bit, so we don't have to see. You can't really see them in this light, but the boom arms are very, very visible in this camera shot from behind me. But anyway, we're working on it. It's been a lot of effort to get to this point, but it's improving. It's getting better. We'll go through this on another show. I have the bench cleaned off and ready to go. There's no lighting on it right now, but you'll kind of see here. There you go. That's it. Well, that's a hat project, believe it or not, that we're going to be doing probably next week. And underneath that is the speaker project that I have some solutions for. I did get it apart. No more damage. Anyway, we'll be doing that on the next Professional Amateur show. And I'm not sure when that's going to be. May have more information on that tomorrow at the Lame Live. Welcome, Welcome, Zach Thong. Good to see you. Anyway, let's transition off of that. We're not here to look at that stuff. Just a little sneak peek there at the overhead on there. It's working. There's a lot more stuff to do. I've got shelving to put up and a lot of organization and reorganization and reorganization. I guarantee it. I've already taken the toolboxes apart a couple of times, and we've had some times, the toolboxes and I, just running around trying to figure shit out. It's a little crazy. Honestly, I'm learning more about me every day. Some of you that tuned in to the show here a few days ago, last week, know about my loss of mental reason, whatever made me lose it, and I got angry, and I wasn't angry at my friend, but it frightened her, and that devastated me. I thought I was further than that. I thought I was better than that. I was a little bit arrogant about that. I still have a lot to learn, and I still don't know it all. So, welcome, Robbie. Good to see you. Welcome. Good to see you. So I still make mistakes, and I'm still screwing up. So what the hell am I doing this show for? This is what got the title and all that. Who am I? What right do I have to sit here and talk about my life? Well, first of all, it's my life. It's not anybody else's. There's been good points and bad points, and I apologize for the bad points, and I enjoyed the good points. So all I can do is pick up the pieces and move on, which is what I did so many years ago. But at some point, I stopped moving forward. I stopped trying to get better or be less of an asshole, less abusive, less. I mean, I haven't been truly abusive in a long time, but it's. I make the joke sarcastically about, hey, I'm an asshole. Sorry, not sorry. But it's kind of true. In the case that might be a defense mechanism for me and part of who I am today. That sarcasm may be a shield. It may be me saying, yeah, I'm an asshole. I'm a work in progress, so don't judge me too harshly. Judge me as harshly as you wish. You have a right to judge me. It is my channel, yes, it is my channel. Thank you, I appreciate that, Preston. I'm trying to make it everybody's channel, really. It's been a long road to get to here. You all know that when I was 22, 23, I lost my family over the space for about 18 months. I was doing a little research on ancestry and trying to add in pieces. My mother's marriage to my stepdad, whom I call my dad. When I refer to my dad, I'm talking about my stepdad. And then filled in the blanks. Gramps' birthday wasn't in there, and Grandma's birthday and death date weren't in there, so I had to get those filled in. But anyway, doing that made me realize that there's a lot of holes in my life that I know what they are and why they are, but I don't know how to fix them. So I have to go back and revisit that time in my life and tidy up some things that I never took care of then, and that should close a door or two and allow me to move forward a little bit more, and maybe stop making jokes about being an asshole, and maybe start making statements about being a better human being and being more empowered to do better things. To do better things. What does it mean when I say to do better things? Does that mean I'm gonna make better projects on the professional amateur show? Am I gonna do better repairs on Black Betty? It means none of that. It has nothing to do with any of that. Doing better things when it comes to my world is attempting to live an open and transparent life where people know who and what I am and where I come from. I think everybody has a right to know about who they're dealing with to a certain extent. I'm not completely open. Anybody coming to my shows will never know. Yes, absolutely. This is a great statement. Development is bringing this up. I agree. Falco sarcasm is a clever lie, often an acceptable lie, but it's still hiding something, and I absolutely agree with that. I've never had any. Yeah, but I don't do horses, Robbie. So Will Rogers can have them all, every stinking one of them. I'll just admire them from afar and go, wow, it's a beautiful animal, satanic and wants to kill me, but it's a beautiful animal. So you enjoy hanging out with it, letting your children play with it, When it kills them, I will feel badly for you. That's sarcasm once again. But I'm actually terrified of horses. One of the few animals I am truly terrified of because of a bad experience when I was about 14 or so. Somewhere between 12 and 14. I don't remember the exact age. I just remember it was the first and last time I ever got on a horse. So, maybe someday I'll tell that story, but it's not a story for today because it'll get me off track. Back to who I am now. I'm a guy who's happier than I've been in probably 20 years. But I'm also a guy that's struggling. I talked about the clutter that was on my bench and that kind of stuff being clutter for my mind, and I think that's very apt. Going through this process has made me physically sore, emotionally drained, but it's made me feel physically and mentally better. My space is more peaceful for me. It doesn't feel like I'm as hemmed in. Well, partially because I'm not. I mean, I gained probably 12 or so square feet behind me, which doesn't sound like very much until you realize I can now stand up and dance back here if I want to behind my chair, while someone else stayed right exactly here where I am. So that's pretty cool. I don't know how I'm going to continue forward or how successful I'm going to be. I just know I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying to be a better person and do better things as I've described. Last couple of weeks have shown me I will not always be successful when I try. I'm pretty much in love with this woman and she knows it. But she's not at the same place I am, and that's fine. She doesn't have to be. In the meantime, she's my best friend. So we hang out, we do things together because she's my best friend. And that's good enough. There was a time in my life when that wasn't good enough. And that's part of who I am now. I look at friendships and people differently than I did in the past. I value them much, much more. If I think of someone or I have a thought about someone, I try and reach out to them in some way and let them know that I thought about them. That's another part of who I am. But I'm also the guy that got mad at my best friend or got mad at the situation or whatever was triggering me. And honestly, I think part of it was pressure I put on myself. Pressure I put on myself to be the man, to be right, to be good, to be strong, to be firm, to have not commitments is the wrong word. Morals and standards. And I got so stuck in wanting to impress my friend, I forgot that the thing I was so passionate about was something she didn't really give a shit about, which is fine, but it's also something that she didn't need to hear my opinion about, and the way I expressed my opinion was wrong. So I'm still a guy that makes mistakes. I'm still a recovering abuser, so to speak. Apparently I'm still going to make mistakes and still do things that are abusive even when I don't intend to be abusive. That sucks. That let me know something new about myself. I didn't know that my intensity came out in a way that would make people be afraid or be hurt by how and what I'm saying. Man, I'm telling you, that's a lot to take in. welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Oops, I just did it again. Forgot to turn my guitar down. I'll do that a lot. So that's kind of the short of who I am now. I want to be better. I want to do things that are fun. I want to do things that are cool. I want people to enjoy their time with me, whether here on YouTube, chatting, talking, playing, doing whatever I do, or standing physically in the same space with me. I don't want to make people feel that way. I don't want to, especially not a friend. Whether intentionally or unintentionally. So my goal now is to just continue what I've started, continue getting better, and continue trying to change who I am. That means I might be somebody different than what I told you today. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm a liar today. Why do I bring that up? I want everybody to keep this perspective. It's going to sound strange at first, but I'll try and explain it as best I can. Every human being, every person on the face of this earth has their own version of truth. This is a bong. That's a fact. It is a truth. But we'll set that back down for a minute and consider this. This is the difference. We just spoke about truth. It's a solid fact. And for reasonable people, undisputed. This is the best acrylic bong ever made by anyone. That's my version of truth. Your version of truth is not the same as mine. It's part of the reason why in murder and crime investigations, there'll be 20 witnesses with 20 different stories, 20 different descriptions, 20 different pieces of events, and none of them exactly match. It's because everybody has their own version of truth. We all agree that a crime or a thing happened. We agree that the sky is blue with clouds in it. But how many clouds? What do the clouds look like? Is there gray in the clouds, or is that silver? Those things are what define your version of truth. Your version of truth is not a set of facts. It is a set of feelings, emotions, perceptions. And your version of truth and everybody else's will change over time. Version of truth I had 10 years ago is a different version of truth than I have now. And I don't know what my version of truth will be tomorrow, but I know that when I speak today, that I want to be truthful and transparent and honest as closely as possible and without sending myself to the penitentiary. I don't think I've ever committed a felony, but, I'm willing to entertain the possibility given my past. I've probably committed some crimes. Not that I'll admit to that, but there's not very many folks here, and I don't expect there's going to be very many here, but I'm wondering, does anyone else out there feel the same way as I do? Do you feel like there is room for different versions of truth amongst people, or is it just truth or it's false? Is it just black and white and all truth has to be the same, or it's false? I just wonder. Leave it in the comments after the video. Throw it in the chat if you want to. I'm not trying to open a discussion. I'm just trying to find out some other people's perspectives. Exactly. It's one of those things. I was talking to my friend that got in the bike accident when he did his DUI, and we went on a road trip. We were looking at Christmas lights, and we got about halfway down there. We're talking about this and that, and I told him that what we needed to do was we needed to describe Christmas lights to our friends. And he said, well, they're bright, and they're red and green and purple and blue. And I said, okay, that's not bad. But here's a challenge. Describe mashed potatoes. A mushy, potato-y substance that's smooth but might have bumps in it, and it becomes relative. Hello, Texas Jackdaw. Welcome, Tim. Welcome. So when you're having a disagreement with somebody, here's my point. When you're having a disagreement with somebody about any point of contention, consider that their version of truth may differ from yours. It doesn't mean that they're a liar or that you're a liar. It just means that their perspective, their experiences in life, their that's true to a certain extent. Development, I would agree with that. The truth can set you free, but the truth can also trap you. As an abuser in my past, I've used the truth against people that I've abused. I've used the truth to hold people captive, twisting things to my own ends, making that truth work for me. It's a form of psychological manipulation. A lot of abusers do it. You get pretty good at it after you try it for a while. Hello, Gary Hubbs. Welcome. Glad to see you. I hope everybody's having a good night. And I hope this has told you a little bit more about who I am and what I'm about, what I might want to be when I grow up. I want everybody to take a minute to think next time they're talking to someone that they may disagree with often at work, or maybe it's a family member that has a different philosophy on life than you do. Maybe just listen to what they have to say, even if you don't agree with it. Maybe decide to not come against what they believe. Just for a minute. Just to see what happens. Listen to somebody's opinion who you disagree with. Don't consider the possibility that someone's different version of truth might enlighten you in some way. Excuse me. I hope that something I say, I hope something I say sometimes has a positive effect on everyone in some way. I don't care if you agree with me or disagree with me. I don't care if you like my past. I don't care if you hate me because I'm an abuser or like me because I'm recovering. I have a great relationship with my children now, and I have had for a very, very long time. Um, it's not something that has, I've had to wait years and years for. By the time they were adults, they had figured out I was different and we were able to do things. So, fun stuff. So try and take something positive away from everything you do. Try to take something useful home. If you have to take something home from your day at work, next time you're having a disagreement with your son, your daughter, your spouse, your friend, maybe take a minute and think about what their version of truth might be differing in comparison to yours. I'm hopeful that everyone will find something that will bring them joy every day. Doing what I do every day, taking things apart on the professional amateur show, trying to learn things on the guitar, bitching about my ganglion cyst that puts my fingers to sleep and my cramping fingers that won't let go of the pick or let me readjust my grip when I'm trying to play. And I complain about those things, but then I have to remember that my perspective's a little bit skewed. I happen to be around some incredibly good players, and I put a lot of pressure on myself. These players been playing for 40 years. I barely got 40 hours, so so I'm hopeful that these things will. I'm hoping these things will make some ripples. Clay talks about it on the banner he has on the bottom of his shows with Clay Clay and Clay. Clay and Chad. That you can't change the world, but you can make ripples. And I know I paraphrase that, but it's not my quote. I'm not trying to steal his thing. It's just a great metaphor for this. I'm trying to be a ripple. I've made waves and I've made other ripples that have been negative and hurt people. So now I'm trying to make waves that are positive and make things that are good for others around me and might have a positive impact on people, maybe even people that don't like me. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this confessions program and talking about my past, my transgressions, my errant ways of behavior currently, which is more what this show is about than my past. My past certainly affects now. There's a certain effect that it has on my day to day. Yeah, I have some minor carpal tunnel, but I also have a new and growing quite well ganglion cyst here. I'll have a chat with my new PCP about it. We'll see if I need to do any orthodox. It's when I'm chording a lot or playing a lot, over 45 minutes or an hour with little or no breaks, then I'll start losing the feeling, getting the tinglies in these thumb and these three fingers. But it takes a while, and I don't think it really needs surgery at this point. This might need a little, snip, and, get that out of there. I don't know. We'll see. It doesn't hurt. Feels weird to push on it because it's hard, but it's not hard. It has that cyst consistency. carpal tunnel surgery is great. I just don't think I need carpal tunnel at this point. I might. But I'm only doing one hand at a time. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I need a free hand every day, at least one free hand every day for business and paperwork. So, if you know what I'm saying there. Yeah. Yeah, it can. And you guys that have been players for years, yeah, you should definitely have it looked at. It's pretty straightforward for him to diagnose, and the surgery's pretty straightforward now too. Used to kind of be a big deal, but not anymore. It's pretty routine, um, unless it gets advanced, and then it can get a little less than routine. And it sounds like Tim may have had me. Yeah. Oh yeah, it can make all kinds of crazy stuff happen. Just talking about that cyst now has made my hand ache. It's funny. It doesn't hurt. This is psychosomatic pain. It's just because I was thinking about it, messing with it. Um, I'm hoping if they decide I got to get it cut out, I'm hoping they'll let me watch it. Because this the kind of thing I love to watch on the Yugle tubes. I watch the cyst removals and but yeah, I'm a zit pop it cyst removal kind of. Well, that'd be weird to have some tingling, yes, from a spine injury in your hands, but numbness and problems that in this day and age your doctor kind of boo-booed there. Maybe he had some other good indicators. I'm not judging your doctor. The doctor might be the best doctor in the face of the world. Back to that version of truth thing again. So, excuse me. I guess I should say, for those of you that might not have been to confessions before, this show is different. This show is a me show. It's about who I am now and the struggles I go through as a recovering abuser, what I'm trying to do with my life to make things better. Nice. Well, I'm glad your acupuncture doctor diagnosed it properly. That's good. That's really good. That's really good. Forgot what I was saying, so it was probably a lie. But that's alright. It doesn't matter. Oh, yes, now I remember. Anyway, I don't generally. I plink around on my guitar. It's mostly. Really? You want to know the truth? It's really a shield. This gives me a little bit of a shield, a barrier protection while I'm talking to you, if that makes any sense at all. I tried it last time without my guitar, and it I just felt naked. It didn't feel as comfortable. This, I feel better. I don't know why. I just do. And I can play along with it as I have thoughts, because I know there's going to be times during these things when when my mind will kind of shut off. I'll stop talking and I'll be thinking. That's an exercise, believe it or not, in just existing in the moment, in what I'm thinking, and allowing myself to process something that may or may not be pleasant. Sometimes when doing things like this, I'm trying to say this in a way that doesn't make a woe is me, poor abuser guy feel sorry for, because that's not what this means. That's not what it's about. It's kind of a PTSD where something unrelated will trigger a memory, and I live it again in my head. It quite literally is a physical event happening again to me or with me, involving me in my brain. I can tell you what things smell like, what they look like, what the fabric of the chair I'm sitting in feels like, or whatever the case may be. It is an incredibly crazy experience, and it happens often. And this allows me to just let that process, and then I can just play. Oh, you're such a sweetheart, Tim. Thanks. I think everybody looks cooler with a guitar, but, the sad part is not everybody has a guitar as pretty as Ruby, especially with her new beauty mark right here, courtesy of the asshole that's right in front of you. And I'm not down on myself. I'm not mad at myself every day I look at this. I just want to remind myself of why that mark is on this guitar. I don't want to forget the stupidity and the 5-year-old temper tantrum that caused me to throw a tape gun at my bed, which indirectly bounced up and made it hit my guitar and take a chunk out of it. I could have dropped this guitar walking across my bedroom, had it hit something and put this same chunk in it, and it wouldn't have that same meaning to me. It kind of does make it mine. It kind of does make it mine. I just don't want to forget why. It's not who I want to be, and it's not how I want to act, even though I sometimes still screw up and do it. It's like being a drug addict. I'll always be a drug addict. I'll always be recovering. I'm always, one decision away from being a user again. Exactly the same thing applies to abuse. I make a choice every day to get up and not be an abuser, to make better decisions, to use tools in my toolbox. Now, thank goodness my friend loves me enough that she said, "You're forgiven and I don't ever want to hear about this again." We talked about it and I'm satisfied that you mean what you say and you're remorseful and it's not going to happen again. Now it's up to me. Now I have to honor that by not doing it again. And part of how I'm doing that is this program, this show, this talking with you. This keeps me accountable. I talk about these things not because I want to be publicly humiliated, not because I think that I'm the scourge of humanity and because I should be punished, but because I believe that my transparency and my ability to say, I don't care what you think, if you want to hate me, that's okay, this is who I am, and it might help somebody. It might help another abuser. It might help someone who's been abused to see a different side. Don't ever have to feel like you need to forgive your abuser because this fat fuck like me comes on here and starts talking about kinder, gentler abuser, because there is no such thing. If you don't want to forgive your abuser, don't. Absolutely do not. You do not have to. You are under no onus to do so, whether they change or not. Even if they become Mother Teresa or Father Time, whatever. That as good as I get there. But you know what I mean. It doesn't matter how the abuser changes. It matters how you feel. Just like when you were being abused. Some of the stuff I talk about on here will be triggering for some people, and I don't want to trigger anybody or make them feel unsafe, but I did that to my own friend. And I didn't even mean to. And I don't want to do that here. So if I'm getting intense and you feel like it ain't right for you here, or you just can't hear what I have to say anymore, please leave. I don't want anybody here that feels uncomfortable or threatened or triggered. That's not what this is supposed to be for. Hello, Charlie. Welcome. But that's what this is about. That's the kind of stuff you're going to see, or the kinds of things I'm talking about now. There's still no script. There'll still be the occasional joke, but they'll be generally in the context of whatever I'm trying to talk about. These shows will happen 1 or 2 times a month, probably like this, beginning of the month, and maybe one in the middle or towards the end. They're kind of going to be as I feel like and as I have something to say. Please feel free to leave comments after the show or questions in the comments. I want to keep these shows fairly short, around about 45 minutes to an hour. They're not meant to be marathons. They're meant to just be quick discussions and hangouts. So, and Preston, I would not ever deign to tell anyone they need to do that. I have been both a liar and a thief. So if you would not want to forgive me for those things, that's fine. I'm okay with that. And you, as another human being, have every right to not forgive those things if you don't wish to. There's so many provisos with this whole subject matter that makes it difficult to talk about open forum like this. Trying to get a point across or help someone understand your point of view is difficult under the best of circumstances. So that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not here to change your mind about abusers, about offenses, about events that have happened to people in the past. I'm here to open a dialogue and maybe show somebody that there is room for change and improvement. I was lucky enough to make amends with my children, and they were kind enough to forgive me for the things I had done to them, that I have done to them. And it was hard to accept that forgiveness. So the funny thing about being an abusive person, whether you're recovering or not, is it's hard. It's physically taxing to get as angry as I do when I get angry. It's a physical event. I was thinking about this the other day. When you go to a domestic violence education class and you start going through the counseling and the things you need to do in a legitimate class, they want you to go back and reflect on your life, most from age 18 forward. They don't count what you did as a child. However, when I was about 8 or 9, I had a couple of friends in grade school. They were a year ahead of me, but we played together, neighborhood thing, and they started palling around together, doing whatever they were doing, became better friends than either one of them were with me. And at some point, I became the odd guy out, and they didn't like me anymore. And I didn't play with them. It was no big deal. Of course, we still went to the same school, still lived in the same neighborhood, still ran with a lot of the same people. So somehow they got it up in their bonnet that I needed to be taught a lesson for something. I don't even know what it was about. But I walked home every day from school, and I took the same route, so it wasn't hard to find. They caught up with me and, hollered at me, and of course I stopped. I had nothing. Yes, Tim. Yes, Tim. That could be true. Right? They stole ideas and sanded off the serial number. That's how music works. A lot of music is inspiration, interpretation from other things. But amends are hard. It's hard to make a true amends, because a true amends is something you do that you didn't mean to do. Something you do that helps someone else who's an abuser or been abused or is a victim, or involved with victims, and you make their day better by something you say in an unintentional way, and it makes them feel good, or happy. That's an amends, and a true amends is hard to get. Really, really hard. And my children both gave me those, and I'm eternally grateful for that. But it's hard to accept. Uh-huh. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that emulation or those mistakes or those copycat things, because they can apply to life as well. They can apply to the same things that we do every day. You know, did we buy the thing for ourselves because we saw the commercial, or because we needed the tool? The most likely answer is yes. Both of those are probably true. Now, why you stopped at the side of the road and picked up a flower to take home to your wife, that's probably better discussed between you and your wife. But it's still a nice thing to do, but the motivation may or may not have originally come from you. It may have been inspired by something you heard or saw somewhere at some point, or whatever. And for me personally, I enjoy doing shit like that. I like doing nice things for people randomly when they don't expect me to do anything for them. I think that's what I miss in a relationship with someone. Being single for all these years has made me realize that I don't miss sex. I don't miss the physicals. The what I miss is the intimacy, and intimacy not as sex. Intimacy is in sitting in the same room, watching a movie and reading a book separately in the same room, but you're existing together and you're happy to be in the same space. So. We often say we're the same, but when someone sins, for lack of better terms, we have a hard time saying we have a hard time saying we relate to that. But we are the same, right? This is a great question. This is a great thing to think on. You don't have to answer it. Just think about it. Other answers to other things will come from questions like this. Questions like this are something that make things better over long terms, because are we the same or are we different? The likely answer to that, my friends, is yes. We are the same, and yes, we are different. I don't think... Whoops. Sorry, I wasn't meaning to highlight that one. That was an accidental click. Sure it was. Okay. Personal belief. Every human being on the face of this earth has the potential to be anything. Literally anything. Be a composer, a writer, a president, some other stupid kind of politician, business person, might be a real estate mogul, who knows? We can also be murderers, rapists, molesters, abusers, robbers, thieves, and all the other bad things too. All those things that can make people like that exist in all of us. Some people are better at controlling emotions and things than others, myself included. I suck ass at controlling my anger, and my strong emotions. Those two kids, when they stopped me, wanted to fight with me. One of them tripped me from behind as they caught up to me because I was slowing down because I thought they wanted to talk to me about something legitimate. And I went down and they were kind of not kicking me but pushing me with their feet, teasing me, whatever they were. I don't remember the words they were saying, but I remember it at some point during that pushing me around event, my mind switched, and I don't know how else to say this, I didn't give a fuck anymore. I didn't care if I got hurt, if they got hurt, if somebody ran out in front of a car, if it was the end of the world. I just didn't give a fuck. What was going to happen was what they were doing was going to stop. And I stood up and said a bunch of shit. I don't remember the words. I don't remember what the context was. I don't remember what I said with them. But both those boys walked away from me right after I said it. And at that point, I equated anger and power. I got results by using my anger and my rage. And that was at a very early age. And I think that set me up on a mental thinking error and a road to coddle that through the years. And as things got harder and more difficult for me, I confronted them in the wrong ways. So hey Camellia, welcome. Hello, good to see you there. Bad accountants are bad. Yeah, fuck those guys. I agree. I once had a friend. No, I was never smart enough to have an accountant. I wish I would have been. But I once had a friend tell me that if your accountant doesn't make you twice as much money as you pay them, fire them and find a good accountant. So thanks for joining us. Getting close to the end here. I'm gonna run this one down. I think we're pushing an hour now, and I've said a lot of things. I want this to open thought and discussion. I don't want to discuss it here because that would make these shows last for hours. And maybe when we get later on and I start inviting people to come on and be guests, we can entertain some of those longer shows for these confessions. But for right now, I want to be discussions. If you ask me a question in the comments afterwards, I read all my comments. Sometimes I get a few days-ish behind, but I do read all my comments, and I will answer them. And if it's something I can't or don't feel comfortable answering back to you in the comments, I'll let you know that I'm going to answer it in the next confessions, and I'll answer it directly to you anonymously. I'm not going to bring you up. I mean, clearly you put your question in the comment of the show. You're not afraid of people who know who you are, but I'm not. The point is not to call you out on the next program. The point is to answer your question in an adequate way. And that might sometimes mean that I say I don't know, but I'll find out. I don't know, maybe having good luck with a music attorney is better than having bad luck with accountants. I don't know. You'll have to let me know how that one turns out, Tim. Anyway, everyone, thank you for joining me tonight. I hope I give you something to think about. I hope I've given you some things to look at, to maybe ponder on. Feel free to leave the comments below. But it's right, asking for a friend. Yes. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about some guy I knew back in the day that abused his family. Yeah, that's it. Love you, brother. Don't ask me for advice on this program or in the comments, and I won't answer them. I'll ignore it. And if you keep doing it, you're probably going to get kicked out. It's not a place for. It's not an advice column. I don't give advice to people. I'm an abuser. I'm talking about my own life and my own events. And I want to say this at every show. Everything I talk about pertaining to everything here is about me. I am the perpetrator, I'm responsible, and I will be held accountable. It says it in the description, and I mean it. I'll be accountable to you and anybody else. Not because I have to be, but because I want to be. I think it helps me improve. So, no, your nail polish is great, and those pants do not make your butt look big. I love you all. Peace, everybody. Take care. Oh, I'll see you on the next confessions. Or something. Bye.